Hey everyone. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion. Something that's important to understand when it comes to team fighting and mid-game macro with grouping. Right, so let's get started with this example. The topic is counterflanking and flanking, and in this example, I want to show you an example of counterflanking. Right, so what you do when the enemy has a really good flanker, and it's like their win condition. Right, so something you can do as well. So let's take a look at these compositions, right? Standard front to back, right? So a front to back composition is when you have when you're frontliners, and in the back, the enemy will just hit the enemy, right? But they will always stand behind the Renekton, right? So what's the counterplay to this? Well, it's when someone potentially finds a flank onto the back line behind the Renekton, right? So you kind of skip that front line in a way, and you find access to them. So it's really important that you don't let that happen. So how do you not let it flank? Well, let's take a look at this example. Okay, the enemy has a Lissandra who's pathing up here. That's pretty suspicious, right? When Dragon's up in 50, what could that mean? Well, it could mean that she's looking for a potential flank opportunity with a creative like going round like this, right? And then suddenly, oh, look at that. She's on your backline on the Severe, right? And that's not what you want. So how do you break this? Well, I want you to watch how much care they put into flanking and paying attention to it, right? So they see the Lissandra here, and there's going to be, I want you to watch the pings on the Lissandra. There's going to be constant pings. Guys, we can't lose track of this Lissandra. She's missing. Guys, look, she could come over this wall here. Okay, that's one avenue. Where else where could she be? Well, we want to go to Dragon, so what are we going to do about it? How do we maintain this? Oh, she could be up here, guys. What do we do about that? What you do is you send someone to stop her, right? You decide who's the best person to stop her, or you send all of you to stop her, and you go look for her, right? So you see Renekton, they've decided, okay, Renekton, go look for Lissandra. Do not let her get behind us so that we can play the fight we want, which is a front-to-back composition, okay? So they decide, yeah, okay, where's Lissandra at? He's going to maintain a pink ward here, right? So that they can see if Lissandra's come behind, right? So they can readjust their position, so they can keep hitting front to back, so they don't get jumped on. Okay, well, that's one place. Where else could you be? Oh, I found you, Lissandra, right? So now, what does that mean? Lissandra can't really get an easy flank, right? She could have, if they didn't care, she could have gone around and found a way onto the Severe, right? But now she can't. So let's take a look. Well, this means Lissandra can't really get a good engage, right? How does she get to the back? Well, she has to go through the front now. She has to go on the Renekton. And look at all the way in the back. I know it's under a bombardment of pings, but you can see Severe is just untouched. Right, this Lissandra wants to be on Severe, not this Renekton, but she couldn't find the flank because of counter-flanking, right? You send someone to stop them. And what does that mean? Well, the enemy can't win because now this Lissandra engage is scuffed, right? And all of this effort to stop the flank, like actively paying attention to it, right? Because it's the enemy win condition. Because the enemy was very obviously looking for one, it wins them the fight. The enemy, his Severe is just allowed to free hit and win, right? So this is how JDG creates space when it comes to flank. So I want to show you something else now. All right, I hope that was useful. I want to show you how much effort goes into creating flanks as well, right? So flanks aren't something you just turn up to, right? So what a lot of people do is, even in like higher relos, is there's no care when it comes to flanking or creating flanks. I want you to just watch how the best top player in China and probably the world creates flank opportunities. And what he does is he goes very early to the Dragon. Obviously, this is a luxury. If you can't go this early, you can't. But he can because his top mid laner took the top wave because she has TP and it's fine, right? But what he does is he goes very early and he sweepers and he constantly maintains an area which he can flank from, right? And it's a minute 40 till Dragon right now. So he's sweeping this path all the way to the Dragon, okay? Very, very precise. And now he drops a pink here, so they don't have control here. And if they ever walk here, he can just flank over the wall or something like that. Because now he can go like this. He can walk up there. Right? He's got so many different angles to flank from now, as long as he maintains vision. He's with his team very early on to make, because vision is the utmost priority when you're a flanker, right? So he's with his team, threatening. Great. And now I want you to look at this. He goes back down, clears more vision. Right, so now the enemy don't know if he's here. He can flank from here now when the dragon fight starts, right? But look how early he went to do it. He didn't even care about the top waves, right? A lot of people would just be caring about top waves and turn up 30 seconds before, right? He's been here for a minute and a half, setting up vision to make sure this fight goes the way he wants it because he can flank from it, right? So he catches a wave, and then he moves in to go find a flank position, right? Because he's had all this vision swept. The enemy has no vision here, right? So he finds this bush that he swept before, right? And now when the enemy starts Dragon, he can just come from behind and his team's over here, right? So a minute 40 seconds creating a flank. Unfortunately, the enemy's really good as well, right? So this is the LPL finals, okay? This is JDG versus TS, and the enemy knows to go look for the flanker as well, right? And lo and behold, they find Kennen, and it's not warded, and they're just insane, right? But what I wanted to convey was just how much effort 369 puts into creating flank positions, right? With vision control. Right, he's there with Sweeper every single game on any flank champion. He's there with Pink Quartz every single game as long as he has a spike, right? Every single time. Now, I want you to compare that with a Diamond 2 top laner from EU West. So, Maro, this is my coaching client in Diamond 2, playing a very notoriously good flanking champion, Wukong. Right, so ideally he finds a way into a fight sneakily, coming from a random angle that people don't expect. Okay, so it's very important. It's a good thing he's picked up Sweeper here. Good, just good. Lots of people don't pick up Sweeper or change the trinkets. Let's see how he uses it, right? So I want to see trinket use with intent. Okay, let's see what his intent is. He could use it as he's walking down to find a way to sweep through here, and then suddenly he's behind an enemy, right? And he finds an engaged mid, or he could find, he could walk through mid, then sweep over here. You know, there's places he can use it, right? So let's see what he does. Good trade. Good trade. Oh, he's sweeping this bush when he wants to go contest dragon. How do I know he wants to contest dragon? Well, he told me when we were coaching. I was like, okay, what's your plan? He said, I want to contest dragon now. And then he pressed sweeper here. This would be an okay sweeper. He was trying to like potentially get a kill on Darius or something, but he told me openly his plan was to get dragon. So there's no intent or thought process behind the sweeper then. Sweeper has a long ass cooldown, right? 75 seconds. He won't have sweeper up for dragon now for a fight, right? So instead of this, he could have swept down here to find a flank mid lane or something like this, right? But yeah, that's the difference between intent, right? Whereas you had the other dude on Kennen creating a flank for a minute and a half with multiple pink wards and sweepers, like sweeping a specific path. Mr. Maro on Wukong swept his river bush when he was going to dragon. All right, so I hope that conveyed just how much of a difference there is. But yeah, I hope to do more mid-game videos. I hope this was interesting to you guys. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you later. I forgot to thank all my patrons. Thank you, everyone, guys. I really couldn't do this without you. You guys are absolutely amazing. We just hit 50 patrons over on the Patreon and almost at 50 coaching sessions, as well as reviewing some one-trick ponies and challenges. So thank you very much, guys, once again.